Welcome back. This is Weird. This is the season 2 finale of This Is Weird. Sort of.
Kind of. We have a big event scheduled for October the 29th. It's a Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. We're going to do the big streaming party. You can join us on our socials. And I think we've got big things planned, though I don't know what.
So that's gonna be all live, in person. You can pop in, you can comment, but maybe we'll throw you on if you have a camera on your computer and we feel like throwing you in. You got something cool to say. It's gonna be a fun kind of, I guess, Halloween-esque episode. Doesn't have to follow along with Halloween, but we'll figure that all out. Gonna be a blast though. October 29th. This, however, is our official Halloween episode of This Is Weird.
All right.
We're gonna talk haunted ghost stuff.
My
why
buddy
Bernie
Julie
doesn't dress up.
Yeah, well, I don't dress up for Halloween at work, at least. My buddy Julie Fisk will join us here in a little bit from Haunted AF, the Haunted AF podcast that she hosts. And Rebecca, who I used to do a radio I used to be on the radio with Rebecca every day. Rebecca won't be here today, but Julie and Rebecca I both know from that era of my life, and I'm looking forward to talking to Julie again on the show. So
I like it. It's going to be awesome because I am a massive ghost fan. I love ghost stories, especially around this time of the year when it feels kind of dark and dreary. I love to be spooked. Love haunted houses. This is one of my favorite times of the year, just seeing scary, spooky things and get my adrenaline going. So I'm excited to talk to them and hear some real ghost stories. And I, little known fact, grew up in a haunted house. My parents' house.
Did you? Did you?
So I got a few.
So you have seen ghosts. See, I've never seen a ghost that I'm aware of. I won't say that I don't believe in it, but I've never come across one.
I can't say I've seen, experienced. Yes,
well, I've told you this before. It's always circumstantial. It's always like, the spoon moved across the countertop, and I'm pretty sure that was the spirit of the person that lived in the house. Or I don't know. Just it's always very circumstantial. I never get it.
Yeah, Russell, who may be on the live stream, hopefully, we're crossing fingers. He does the haunted tour. Russell Rush has been on the show before. He loves it when you tell him how stupid his show is because you don't believe any of it.
Look, I love Russ. I love his show. I love his passion. I do not. I don't know that I do ghosts. Every time I watch one of those ghost things, it's always very. Oh, did you see that thing? It moved, and I'm like, no, I didn't see it moved. It whispered. I heard it whisper, death. Like I never.
And you're like, no, it just sounded like a radio frequency.
Just sounded it just sounded like the wind. Maybe I'm too skeptical. I don't know.
So we just ordered. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we just ordered our Halloween costumes this week. We're excited about it. My son came up with the idea, so we just all ran with it. We are going to be a stick family. You know, the glow in the dark stick family.
That's funny.
What I can't wait for is when it's real dark and we're all walking down the street together. And you just see, the light up stick costumes as a family walking. Britt and Stella are going to be pink, and then we got blue for all the boys.
Okay.
I don't know if that's gender appropriate in 2021, but that's what we're doing.
We're not doing that.
Those are our pronouns.
I would like you to get I think you should get a picture of all of you and have it put on a bumper sticker that you then put on the back of your car.
And we need the stick dog too. I'm gonna have to figure out Charlie's
stick dog
light up costume somehow.
You make it all meta, and you come back around and you put a sticker of yourself on the back of your own car.
A soccer ball.
Good idea. Yeah, the soccer ball. Yeah.
Why don't are you dressing up as a fan? You're not dressing up at all.
I don't dress up.
You don't even just have fun with your little and just say she wants to be a princess, so you're going to be Prince Charming.
She's going to be a mermaid. I think we're doing mermaid this year, or like a princess fairy mermaid. Right. We're mixing a few different things together, and she's going to do that. I like the neighborhood. My neighborhood is awesome on Halloween. It's just got a nice feeling in the air. There's lots of kids in our neighborhood, and so I like to just I like to put up the music and pass out candy. I like that. That's my favorite part.
Walk around the neighborhood with a beer in your hand and
I walk around, make myself a drink and walk around the neighborhood. Whoa, scary.
So. Do you have the certified dad tax on the bag of candy when it comes home?
Oh, she knows which ones that she has to give up. Like she knows Well, you're not getting you're too young for Snickers is the thing that I say to her, and Kit Kats.
All right. I am. My kids know there's a hefty tax.
Oh, it's a good
when they walk back in the door.
Yeah.
Usually they'll appease me a little because they'll hand me stuff on the way. Like, oh, Dad, you like the Snickers, right? So they think if they give me a little bit beforehand, it's not going to be such as a harsh tax when they hit back in the kitchen. But it's a rough one. I'm a candy fanatic, so
my kid, if you can believe, my kid doesn't eat a lot of candy. If you can believe, there is some of last year's candy still at my house.
Oh yeah, we don't get through all of it.
We never get through all of it, and there's still a bag of candy that she hasn't gotten through from last year. So
what if you're terrible stuff? You know how when I had a job, they would at work they would have you do like Halloween. Did your work ever do that? They have a Halloween party for everybody, and people would dress up around the office.
Yeah, it's weird now. I haven't been in an office in a long time. They did have that, and I do not dress up at work anymore, and I'll tell you why. Because one year, I dressed up as a Catholic schoolgirl.
Good choice. Okay.
A la Britney Spears in the "Baby One More Time" video, and I had on
the vision I have in my head of your hairy legs.
Dead sexy. It was dead sexy. Oh. I had the white half shirt and the little tiny short skirt.
Is there a picture online of this?
I believe. Is there evidence? We had a actual physical picture. I do not think there's a digital picture anywhere, and I believe it hung in the studio for a long time, and I got rid of it one day because I was tired of it being around.
That's one of those that if people Google you, it always seems that those kind of pictures pop up into the.
To my knowledge, there are no digital copies of that photo. That's how long ago it was. But no, you don't. You don't. And so, one year I had that on at work. And it was Halloween dress-up day, and the show. Let's see, Jody was dressed as, if I'm not mistaken, a pirate, and Rebecca was dressed as a roller derby girl. And we got a note that said, "Hey, after the morning show is over, we need you all to meet in the conference room. There is a big all hands on deck meeting.
Oh God,
for the entire staff.
Oh, staff meeting, please.
And all staff
corporates
meeting.
coming in."
So everyone was dressed up that day. It wasn't just us. It was everyone.
Terrible.
And so they bring us all in dressed in what I would consider to be a humiliating fashion to begin with. But at least it was an off-air. At least it was a non-serious humiliating fashion. And so they bring everybody into the conference room, and we all sit down, and our general manager, a man who we really, really liked. He's the best general manager I've ever had.
Okay.
And they bring him in to explain to us that today is his last day at the office.
Oh God. I thought they were going to bring everybody in to start firing people. No. They're like, listen, we're going to have to lay people off today. So we'll call you out by name and let you know when to meet us in the office. You're like, I'm dressed as Britney Spears right now. This is not going to.
If I'm not mistaken, my boss Peter was dressed as Count Drincula. So they bring us all in, and they put the man in front. They put the man who's being let go in front of us, and they were letting him say his goodbyes. They were gracious enough to let him. So we all really adored him, and they let him say goodbye in what was out of The Office. Like, it was out of the show The Office. We're all sitting around, and we look like, could we do this? Could we do this with some goddamn dignity tomorrow? Like
Steve Carell would have been dressed up as something really inappropriate to be the one leaving,
like a geisha girl or something. You're not allowed to dress up like anymore. So they do that, and we're all sitting there in our dumb costumes, watching this poor man lose his livelihood.
Oh man.
It was terrible. And
I can imagine.
To this day, the reason I don't dress up at work, on the off chance that we're all going to be rounded up and put in the conference room and told terrible news.
That's funny. We had some great. I can understand your point now. Then, I love dressing up for work stuff too, because it's just fun around the office. Everybody's creativity We had the best parties in Louisville when I was at a radio station called DJX because we'd do group costumes and they'd have contesting. But I remember our GM walked in to one of our parties and he was I think like a biker rock star. So he had like a mohawk, the fake tattoo arm sleeves, and then he also had a cocaine and a rolled up, not real cocaine, but like powdered sugar or something, and a rolled up. Like he had to take it that extra step further. That our GM might kind of be into cocaine. I don't know. I don't know if this is a costume or what.
One of the two.
So those were some fun moments. And then here in Atlanta, we had I always found that you could win the office costume contest by being a parody of somebody in the sales department.
Oh, that's always funny.
Everyone loves that.
It's always funny. I always thought it would be funny. I always thought it would be funny to dress up like someone, you know, like topical costumes are always big every year. Like everybody, like I'm going to dress up like Tiger King. Like it was a big thing and a moment in time. Like I want to dress up like the same topical thing every year, but it's lost its topicality. Like this year I want to be the Gangnam Style guy.
Well,
like
the big one that's going to happen this year, just because it's top of mind right now and costumes are selling out everywhere, I've heard.
Gabby Petito.
Squid Game. Oh,
no.
God.
What?
The Squid Game. Have you watched Squid Game on Netflix?
I have not watched Squid Game. I know it's going to be a big deal, Squid Game. So yeah.
I have the boss's mask. I ordered that to go with my stick family thing. Just I just want to be a little more
costumes?
Creepy. Yeah.
Son of Stick Squid Game.
Stick Squid Game. I may start killing the children off halfway through.
That's good. Yeah. By the way, great radio name, Stick Squid Game. Great radio name.
I don't know if you'll like Squid Game, but it's graphic.
Yeah.
Awesome series. Highly graphic.
Yeah, I don't know. But
great. But that's going to be the big one this year. Very topical. There will be some, people that take it way inappropriate with the Gabby Petitos, like you said, and Brian Laundrie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
what would be some other good ones for this year?
That's happened. You could do Britney Spears, the conservative shit Britney Spears.
Yes. You just walk around
how
topless.
You do that. You just walk
around topless and hold your hands on your boobs.
Yeah, walk around dressed normally, and somebody's making you put the Halloween costume on. You're contractually obligated to have the costume on.
R. Kelly in a jumpsuit. Be a solid one for this year, I feel like.
That'd be good. Yeah.
What else was big?
I'm going to go I'm going to alienate everybody in my neighborhood and go as Trump January 6th rioter. I'm going to go as the what's the guy that wore the Viking horns? The painted face with Viking horns guy.
Yeah, yes.
Alienate everybody in the neighborhood.
There's going to be those,
I'm the
for
guy
sure.
that was fighting for justice. Shut up.
There's definitely going to be the insurrection costume.
Insurrection guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think this could be creative. Somebody can figure this out. I don't know exactly how it goes, but you could wear a name tag that says, "My name is Brandon," and then your buddy could just be the whole time, all night, just being, "Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!" Have you seen that going around?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so because a lot of people are questioning, like, why is this showing up on social media so much? There was I believe it was I want to say a football game or something, a big sporting event, and the crowd started yelling, "Fuck Joe Biden!"
Okay, all right.
Fuck Joe Biden. And the announcer comes on and she says, "Well, listen to that. They're cheering for Brandon. They're saying, 'Let's go, Brandon,' out there." And she just moves on. I don't know if she was being serious or if she didn't know she was trying to cover it.
Some producers like, find something that rhymes. Say Brandon. Say Brandon. They're saying Brandon.
Yeah, so now there's T-shirts that say "Let's go, Brandon." If you ever see anybody put that on social media,
that's funny. I've not heard that.
There's a rap song. I don't have it queued up, but it's on my Facebook page. If you want to go click there, Bernie, you might be able to pull it up. But it's a rap song that this guy made called "Let's Go, Brandon," and it's pretty solid.
I'm gonna pull it up here.
You know what they saying though?
You know what they, and I said with a passion.
You gotta love people.
That's
that
a
have
banger, dude.
Musical, yeah, no kidding. Musical ability right there. It's turning a negative into a positive.
If somebody pulls off the Let's Go Brandon costume, please post
pretty
it on
funny.
our
That's
socials.
funny. I've not heard that.
At This Weird Pod. Yeah. So now you know.
The Let's Go Brandon challenge. All right, coming up here in just a few minutes, our buddy Julie will pop in and we'll talk Haunted AF podcast next.
This is weird.
Welcome back to it. This is weird. Don't forget the live streaming event comes up on October the 29th, and we will be live on the socials and doing that. That should be a lot of fun. It is
conjure
Halloween.
up some spirits, maybe.
Yeah, well, there'll be spirits. I don't know if it'll be of the supernatural variety, but there'll be spirits that night.
Lots of them
on the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for downloading it. Thursdays is the day that you can download the Haunted AF podcast. Our buddy Julie Fisk is here. She and Rebecca Black are the hosts of the Haunted AF podcast, and we have lots of questions because it's you guys focus on ghosts and the supernatural. And how did this get started?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, Bernie, like we all know each other from radio. We all worked in the same building for a long time. And that's how Rebecca and I became friends. And when I lost my job, I initially was a film critic. And so I was covering movies, and Rebecca and I started doing movie reviews together. And we had a podcast called Boozy Movies where we would get drunk. We'd go to a screening and get drunk, and then we would record ourselves giving the reviews. And it was a lot of fun.
Bernie has had this idea, I think, about 17 times with me too. He's like, "What if we went to movies and got drunk and we could just talk about them?"
But I didn't want to record anything. I just wanted.
No, it wasn't even about a podcast.
Yeah. Right, it had nothing to do with content. It was just I want to go to a movie and get drunk.
Yeah, which is really an idea, but it is after a while. It's like taxing, and it is expensive, and nobody was listening. We had like 12 regular listeners, so and you can still find those. Actually, our Get Out review I still think is like one of our better ones. It's like 3 white women try to review Get Out without sounding like racist idiots.
And there's drinks involved, which is never a good idea.
Yeah. But then we stopped doing it for a while just because nobody was listening. And then we started finding these great podcasts like Morbid and My Favorite Murder, that these like female-led podcasts that were very similar to what we were already doing. And we're like, let's just try again with something we both love. And we've always loved ghost stories and the paranormal and anything creepy. We love scary movies. We love all that stuff. So we started it, and it's funny. There's actually 1 million paranormal podcasts. At the time, I thought, well, there's too many movie podcasts. Maybe we'll have more luck with there's probably more paranormal podcasts than any. But it's done really well. We've got a solid following, and I think the thing that makes ours a little different is that people send in their stories from all over the world, and we let them. They can videotape themselves or just send us audio, so they get to tell the stories themselves. So you get to hear other voices. It's not, I think it's kind of boring just hearing the two of us talk all the time.
It's just the two of you, one holding a flashlight under their chin.
And so it's slightly better than that because we get to have all these other, and it's wonderful. Like we just got a story from Bangladesh, like, Sri Lanka, these really great stories, and to hear these voices, and it's kind of unifying. Like this is something we all have.
And I would guess that by culture, if you're getting stuff from different cultures, what scares people and what makes up those type of experiences differ by culture.
Well, it's just funny. Like, it's interesting. We've gotten a lot of stories from the Philippines, and they have a lot of these kind of deities, these natural deities, or they'll have the wood spirits. And those are really cool. And it seems like there's a lot of hair involved in those stories where seriously they'll wake up and like somebody wakes up with this huge wad of hair in their mouth and they don't know where it came from. Seriously. Yes.
That sounds like a night when I drank with all my buddies and was the first one that passed out.
I woke up with hair in my mouth.
What the hell? Wait, I need explanations. What happens? What do they do when you fall asleep?
Lots.
I woke up with hair in my mouth and somebody drew a penis on my forehead. Ooh.
No, it's more than just that. It's more than just that. But yeah, there's some stories, if there's a lot of religion involved, and there tends to be demons and possessions and that kind of stuff. So We also have, what is it, La Llorona, that comes from Mexico, who is like the ghost, and a lot of people claim to have seen La Llorona. She's the one, God, what's this? There was actually a movie that just came out about her recently, but she's the old lady that will pull you into the water if it starts raining or you're near a creek bed or something. Then she's this ghost that will find you and pull you in. So yes, the cultural ones are great, but I just love hearing different voices and accents. And we get lots of stories from Australia too, which is really interesting.
Bernie is the skeptic. Bernie doesn't believe in any kind of ghosts or ghost stories.
It's not that I don't believe. I've never had the experience that others have had. And every time I hear somebody describe it, I'm maybe, yes, skeptical. Skeptical is a good word, I guess.
Well, we have a theory that seeing ghosts or having experiences, it's kind of like liking cilantro. It's like a DNA thing. Either you do or you don't. So, some people have tons of experiences, and some people like me just have one or two like big ones. And then there are people like you who just won't have any experiences. And sometimes people really want to have them. They'll go and do all the ghost hunts and everything and still never see anything.
Yeah.
See, I grew up in a haunted house. I saw lots and lots of stuff that came on. So you wouldn't look at the house and you wouldn't say like, oh, that's the creepy haunted house. But I'll tell you how I feel that it became haunted was when we moved in, because my parents bought the house. I think I was 9, 10, somewhere around there. The family that lived there before, the couple lived upstairs. Their old elderly father lived downstairs in the basement.
Right.
And about a week and a half after they moved out and we took over the house and moved in, he died. And he was on a boat, had a heart attack with his grandson, and passed away. Well, he lived in that basement for many, 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 many years. So I feel like his spirit came back because that's where it knew. Because it wasn't one of those ghosts that would just like purposely freak you out. Mm-hmm. He was actually kind of kind in a way. So things would happen, and the minute you got spooked and freaked about it and he noticed your reaction, the ghost, it would stop immediately, like on a dime. It wouldn't just. So I'll give you a couple stories. First off, the computer room downstairs that we built the wall around to make it a computer room, it would drastically change between hot and freezing cold, drastically. Like you would be in there just working on something, all of a sudden you're freezing and shaking or sweating. That is a big sign. A lot of ghost hunters.
Is that a common thread, by the way? Do you find common threads in stories? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The temperature changes, like that's a huge harbinger. Would things happen after that, or was that the primary, or would that signal that he was there?
Well, the minute you walked in there, you felt something. So like and there was this weird. We should have torn the walls down to the closet that was back there too, because all we did was keep it as like storage. So there was like old files and it was damp and dark and no light. The light never freaking worked in there. And if you put a new bulb in it, it would work for like 5 seconds and shut off.
This is like the holy trinity of haunted shit, you know? At the basement, you got the weird bathroom down there, the flickering lights. Actually, more than the Trinity. Like, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot.
So that room would have a lot of moments. Things would kind of move. You just feel a presence. And then no matter when, if it was in the middle of the day, when you walked up the stairs to go upstairs, you always felt like something was behind you. Always. You always get that. The thing is, I don't feel that anymore when I go there. So I think I don't have any more experiences. So I feel like the spirit left somehow. But back then, everybody would tell you when they walk up them stairs, you can feel something behind you. And especially if all the lights are off downstairs, you get that, like every hair on the back of your back, neck, your ears, it just all stands up and you're like, you walk fast. Like you don't like mosey up the stairs. You go.
Go.
Well, don't you think would, like, if Bernie had been there, would Bernie have sensed it, or would he have been like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't, or do you think?
Was it specific to people at the house?
No, friends, people that would come over. I'd hear it from several people. Like, did you like feel something when you walk up the stairs? Like, did you get chills? And I'm like, yeah, every time. But living there, you get used to it. You just know that there's a dude living with you that you can't really see.
Yeah.
It becomes like
Did you ever talk to him?
yeah, like we didn't have like seances or like try to like bring him out or anything, but I'd be like, you know, if you're sitting downstairs, and this happens at a lot of houses just because they settle and whatnot, but it was more than settling because you'd sit downstairs and watch a movie or something. It generally it was when you were by yourself. So you're sitting down there, you're watching the movie, and you hear literal footsteps in the hallway upstairs. You know where the hallway is, and you know exactly where you're hearing the footsteps, and it's step, 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 step. And then we would like be like, I don't remember his name. I think we made up something, but we're like, all right, man, come on, calm it down. Like, stop. You're freaking me out. And generally you wouldn't hear it again.
Go with a broom and punch the
Come on,
it off.
Charles, quit it, dude.
One-eyed Larry, stop it. I presume. I mean, I'm throwing that out. Maybe it was one-eyed Larry. I don't know.
But I'm a pirate.
Right.
In that in that hallway too, there was 2 bedrooms back in that corner of that hallway, and the one had a lot of activity. And we changed throughout our childhood. We'd change rooms, and I'd be in a different room. My sister would be in that room, or my little baby sister was a nursery at one point. And so two I really remember from that room was when it was my sister's room. I was across the way in another room watching TV, and she screamed out, "Kathy, help me!" And that's my mom's name. And when my mom ran down there to see what was happening, the door was closed, but she saw it opening like about a quarter of the way and stopped. Now, Bernie, the skeptic, will say, hey, that's probably like wind or something pushed the door. Maybe it was a cat. Well, the carpet was of such that the door, you had to push it across the carpet because it was hard, like it was stuck. It wasn't balanced right. So you literally had to give it a push.
Yeah.
So a cat couldn't have done it, and the wind definitely couldn't have done it. And she saw it happen. So then secondly, in that same room, when it was my younger sister's room and we had a bed in there, occasionally I'd get spooked in the basement where my bedroom was. So I went up there and slept on that bed. My sister was sleeping in my parents' room, my baby sister. And she had this rocking horse in there. You know the plastic one with the springs on all 4 sides? Yeah. And I'm laying in there, and
the ones that are in the horror movies?
Yes.
Yeah. Those are the wooden ones. Those are wooden,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Knowing that room was haunted, I probably should have been like, we shouldn't have that horse in here because I know what's going to happen with that.
That thing's going to kill me. That's going to rise up and kill me.
Well, out of nowhere, it starts rocking like somebody's on it. And like I told you before, I was laying in the bed, I hear it, and I see it just in the darkness. I see it moving, and I'd go, and right when I did that, it didn't rock to a stop, just stopped. Just stopped.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
Like somebody went and just pushed it down.
Yeah. Like, okay, dude, get out of here. There's so many stories like that growing up. So I am all in on the ghost stories, and I absolutely love it.
So what are some highlights that you people are talking to your podcast, and what are some highlights that you've gotten? Funny, sexy? Are there sexy ghost stories?
Oh,
Is that a thing? I
yeah,
want to know. I want to know salacious details of. I want Kesha stuff, like Kesha slept with a ghost. That's the sort of thing
like that. Yeah, I'm really surprised we haven't had like the carnal knowledge ghost yet. We did have one succubus who but she wasn't nice. She crawled in bed with a guy and was like, grabbing him and stuff, but it wasn't pleasant.
Hey, I'm married. If somebody just grabbed me every once in a while, I'd be happy.
I'm married.
I'm kidding,
I'll
sweetheart.
take a ghost stopping by every month or so. It's fine.
Yeah,
little rub and tug from a ghost. I'm happy. It's all good.
Watch what you ask for, man.
That's what you're right.
It might be old. It might be old one-leg Charles from back at home.
Yeah,
one-eyed Larry.
Yeah,
might take you way too literally with that tug, just dragging you around the house. And I will say one thing that's funny, Bernie, just before I start telling ghost stories, because once I get started, it's going to be hard to shut me up.
That's fine. That's fine.
But one of the things, if you do want an experience, and this is true, this is a real phenomenon, and it's not just with Haunted AF. If you listen to a lot of paranormal podcasts, you'll start noticing things. Things will start happening. And I've had so many friends, we've had so many people who will contact us and say, I had to stop listening for a little bit because so much stuff was happening in my house. And it's usually the smaller things, like what you were talking about, like doors moving, keys going missing, the footsteps, like that kind of activity.
You're creating paranormal activity with your voice.
But is that not like in your own head at that point? Like I'm listening to that information and now I'm super
kinda
hypersensitive to it. And I'm spooked.
When
and
you
I
watch a
see
horror
things
movie,
moved. Right, yeah.
yeah, you watch a horror movie, you can't go into the back bathroom by yourself,
Right.
Can't go look in the mirror and say Candyman 3 times.
There's something to that. Like, why is it? But these are things where you're not like just imagining it. Like one of my girlfriends had been listening to the podcast, and she's serious, no nonsense person. And all of a sudden the little outside radio by their pool started malfunctioning, and it would just in the middle of the night turn on, and they'd start hearing this static sound coming, and they'd have to go and turn it off. Nobody had turned this thing on. And she was like, I think it's your podcast. But we get so many of those stories.
That's
and again,
amazing.
it's usually little things. A woman, what was her name? Myra maybe was in the shower, and she's so cute. She's like, I gotta turn you girls off because like now my shower, somebody, and she has the hot and cold nozzles, and all of a sudden it'll be blasting cold, but she'll realize even though the cold wasn't on, it's now turned on full blast, and the hot is completely turned off. So all kinds of just like weird little things like that would happen.
It's opposite for our podcast. It's like we get people that write in and are like, my 7-year-old's now trying to suntan his butthole because your guys' podcast.
We talked about that. Yeah, that was the thing we talked about.
Why are you suntanning your butthole?
It's not. It came up in the news.
It's a thing. It was a thing.
I feel like you've thrown the brakes on the interview, Otis.
I'm sorry.
I feel like we were moving in a nice clip, and you had to bring that into it.
I wanted to contrast the different podcasts.
No, it's fine. We should probably just keep walking. All right, we're just gonna keep walking.
Lift your butt up, like
Look,
is it like knees? It's a
It
yoga.
feels like we're stopping down for no reason. Why are we stopping here? This is a thing that Otis brought to the table because he can't read the conversation well. We're not talking about that. I don't know why we have to do that.
All right. So
okay,
what is what is one of your most memorable haunts that somebody gave you?
We were going with the sexy ghost stories, and those are actually really fun. So I did want to tell y'all a couple of those because we had one from Barb, and they had purchased an old home, and she and her husband were redecorating, and this what did they call her? Mrs. Jenkins or something. The woman who had lived there before had passed away, and she didn't like any of the design choices that they were making. Like they had purchased some paint, and then they came home one day and the paint was spilled everywhere, or there would be a flower arrangement thrown off on the floor. So all kinds of just this weird random activity. But the main thing is anytime they would try to have sex, this whatever it was would turn on the bedroom lights. So they would be in the middle. And she said at first it was a showstopper. Like they'd be like, "Oh, all right, okay, stop." Yeah. But after a while, they would.
Oh God, what are we? Is that what we look like naked? What is happening?
She said after a while, well, she clearly just wants to watch. So we're going to put on a good show for her. So they would just, anytime the lights would flick on or flick back off again, they were like, whatever, get yours because we're getting ours. The other big one, this came from a comedian named Bobby Mack, and this is one of the stories we told on the Kelly Clarkson show. Bobby was young. He was, I think, 16 years old, and he was trying to lose his virginity with this girl that he was, dating, and her family was out of town, and he was coming over, all excited, finally going to happen. But she had told him her house is haunted. Mm-hmm. So it's in there. He tells the story so well because he's like, he's about to go down. He's all excited about it. And and what happens? Like he starts noticing she has these little figurines on her dresser, and the figurines start kind of flying off the dresser. And she's like, "Uh-oh."
See, he's trying to refocus because he's probably like, "Oh, too soon." Figurines, baseball.
So he notices these little figurines coming off of the. Actually, it wasn't even that far. He didn't have his pants off yet. They're like still in the bed.
Oh, okay, all right.
And but he starts noticing,
I got
and
too far ahead.
She says somebody's getting angry, and he's like, What are you talking about? So that's finally like the clothes are starting to come off and he stands up to take off his pants. And out of the bedroom door just flew open behind him and he freaks out. He thinks it's going to be her dad or something. And
out the window. I would have been out the third story window before you even told me it was the ghost.
Exactly. But yeah, there was nobody there. And after that, he was like, I was done. He, grabbed his clothes and he ran out the door.
You know what I would have been done?
To this
the
day,
minute she said,
never had sex.
Never tried again.
It ran him off of sex permanently.
You know who that wasn't? It wasn't a ghost. That was the Lord telling you to remain celibate.
It's like, get some Jesus. That's
And that man became a priest.
So I got to give it to him for sticking around. I mean, I probably would have as well, but I would have really had a hard thought about sticking around after she said, "Uh-oh, he's mad."
Yes, I think
Who are we talking about?
The what's the correct word there?
Julie will get this. Anybody seen the movie Teeth? He would be very upset if he's getting mad. We're leaving. We're leaving. The Haunted AF podcast is available where you get podcasts. It drops on Thursday, and I'm excited. I'm excited about what you guys are doing. You guys did Kelly Clarkson last year. That was exciting.
Yes, we did Chris Jericho's podcast, Talk is Jericho. Oh, and here, make sure you check out the website. It's hauntedaf.com.
Swag.
We got swag, but we post on YouTube as well, so you can hear the podcast or you can watch them on YouTube. And the website, we have companion blogs. So whenever we talk, we always have these videos. People will send in videos of voices they're hearing in their house. We had a guy recently who kept hearing a baby crying in the middle of the night, so he got up and recorded. And so we have a lot of really great video and photos and like evidence, I guess you would want to call it. So we share that stuff on YouTube and in the companion blogs as well. So you can.
By the way, that was his baby. He needed to pay attention to that. That was the sound of his baby. I can't hear a baby in the middle of the night. You know that is baby.
No, go listen to this video. Is really wild. It's really cool because he's walking through his house and he says that there's no one around. He's married to a man. They don't have a baby, and but he has. I think he works the early shift, so he gets up at 3:00 every morning. When he's walking through his house, he hears this baby crying, and he recorded it for us. It's awesome. I mean,
wow.
It's amazing. What do you do?
I wish something would have happened while you were telling ghost stories at the back of Bernie's basement.
Oh, something reached up and like something like.
Matter of fact, I should have paid his wife to do something. I didn't even. I should have thought ahead.
A little orb goes floating across the background. That'd be excellent.
All right, the Haunted AF podcast is available where you can get podcasts. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
it's
for
good
having
to see
me.
you.
Thanks, Julie.
This is weird.